cafe. Beatspell. Follow the rhythm and cast magic. Please be. Chapter 1. Chapter 4. The Fourth Fear. Hey, wake up. Beep. I found the last one of those monsters. The Fourth Fear. Beep. All you have to do is defeat this last monster to secure the kingdom. Beep. In other words, this will be your final battle. Beep. Let's go over the magic one more time. Beep. Move with B and cast with A. Beep. Combine them in the right order and you'll cast Flame. That's B and A, pressed in rhythm with the beat. Beep. Now try combining B, down, and A to cast Cure. Beep. Lastly, use B and A but skip that third beat to cast Wave. Bang, bang, hop, pow. Beep. Perfect. Beep. You could actually win this battle. Beep. To think. You're responsible for the future of the kingdom. Beep. Good luck. I'm counting on you. Beep. You want to go? Bring it. Neo. I'm scorching. I ain't losing. Whoa. You made it. Beep. So you're the magician who beat Hex, Bee, and Pyro. Beep. It's actually an honor to meet you. Truly, I'm impressed. Beep. Please, allow me to introduce myself. I'm a flame dragon serving Drac, the final fear. Beep. Under different circumstances, perhaps we could be friends. But alas. Beep. Yeesh. Thought he'd never shut up. Beep. See? This is why we can't be friends. Beep. Personally, I've got nothing against you. But. Beep. He's still not done yapping. Beep. See? You see what I'm dealing with? Beep. Both of you. Shh. Beep. The time for talk is over. Let's finish this. Beep. Leave it to me. Beep. My dragons will take good care of you. No petting them. Let's switch it up. Pardon me. Bye-bye. Let's switch it up. Switching. You did it. You defeated the 4 fears. Beep. Now the kingdom will be at peace. Beep. As leader of the Magician's Guild, I offer my sincere gratitude. Beep. Now, I'm afraid, it's time for us to part ways. Beep. You may resume your rest. Beep. Good night. Beep. Congrats on clearing the level. You've unlocked something to read. Nara's Memoir 4. You can check it out in rhythm reference from the main menu. Beep. Chapter 4. The Fourth Fear. Other. A grab bag of stuff. Read. Title. Rip. Beatspell stories. Nara's. I suppose it all started when I wandered off toward the mountains as a child. I was told not to go. But I was naive. I had no idea about the sort of dangers that lurked just beyond the edge of the village. So, I packed up a picnic lunch and traipsed off to explore the wild, directly disobeying the instructions that had been given to me. That's when I saw my first monster. Beep. I'd never seen anything so terrifying. I froze, unable to move from the spot where I was standing. And I thought that was it for me, until I heard a fair whoosh and saw flames engulf the monster in time with a surprisingly jaunty beat. I turned, wide-eyed, to discover a stranger in elegant clothes gracefully waving a baton nearby. Beep. This person moved in time with the rhythm and struck a series of strange and beautiful poses. With each one, a new torrent of flame bathed the monster until nothing but dust remained. I was captivated. The stranger then spoke to me, asking if I was okay. He had saved my life. To this day, I'm in debt to this magician. Beep. Yes, this was my introduction to the world of magic and magicians. I learned how they bravely protect us and keep the peace by battling horrific monsters. And I wanted to become one of them. In that moment, I made a vow to myself. Beep. Now, the first step to becoming a magician is to be accepted to the Magician's Guild. And in order to do that, you must pass a rigorous entrance exam. And possess an excellent sense of rhythm. As it turns out, rhythm is everything to a magician. Beep. Before taking the exam, I poured everything I had into my rhythm training and magical studies. Day in and day out, I moved and cast until I practically collapsed from exhaustion. I'll admit, there were times when I thought about quitting. But I was determined. I couldn't give up. When I finally took the test, I passed with flying colors. In fact, they told me I actually had the highest score of any applicant, ever. Beep. People told me I was a prodigy. A genius. The best ever. But in my mind, I had done nothing of note. My goal was to become like that magnificent magician who had saved my life, and I was still on step 1. But maybe I had moved a little closer to my goal. Beep. On the day of the enrollment ceremony at the guild, I spotted the magician I had looked up to for so long. And then, to my great surprise, he took the stage and gave a speech. It turns out that the very person who had saved me was no less than the leader of the Magician's Guild. For the second time, I felt awestruck and humbled. I couldn't believe it. I still had such a long way to go. Beep. Nara's Memoir 1. Nara's Memoir 2. To think. The leader of the Magician's Guild was the one who saved me. He's one of the most powerful people in the kingdom. I couldn't believe my hero was, well, basically everyone's hero. It might seem ambitious, but right then and there, I decided I'd devote my life to becoming the leader of the Magician's Guild myself one day. Re-energized, I dove back into my magical training. Beep. Before long, us first-year magicians were given an assignment in the field. We were paired up with a partner and sent out on patrol. And while we didn't expect to encounter much action, it was still exciting. It was my first real chance to see what I could do. Well, I was excited until I saw who I'd be paired with. It was you, the class slacker who was known for cutting lessons and taking shortcuts. Beep. Still, you was just a novice like me. Surely she'd begin to take things seriously on an assignment like this. One would think. A few minutes into the mission, you left, saying, I'm not in the mood for this. A nap sounds better instead. Well. Beep. How can she treat this like a game? I was furious, but I didn't have long to stew in my anger. Not 5 minutes later I was ambushed by a monster. After a moment of near panic, I collected myself and began casting spells. I had trained for this. That monster was no match for me. Beep. Except in this case, it was more than a match. My spells had almost no effect. The monster was unfazed, and I was beginning to run out of strength to keep up the rhythm. Out of nowhere, the monster was engulfed in a blaze of hot fire. It crumbled to the ground. I could see a figure in the distance holstering a baton. It was you. Hugh. Glad you're safe, she said, jogging toward me. Beep. Wait. I shouted, mustering my last ounce of strength and casting my most powerful spell. Unbeknownst to you, the monster had risen and was about to pounce on her. Luckily, I had saved the best for last, and my spell finally reduced the monster to dust. Beep. Don't you know that monsters can still attack even if they've been knocked down? You can't be sure you've defeated it until it's completely gone, I said. Oh, I had no idea, you said. Thanks for saving me. No. You saved me first. I should be thanking you, I said. So, thanks. Beep. From that day forward, you and I began practicing magic together. One time I asked her why she suddenly seemed to take more interest in her studies. It's just more fun with you, Nara. She said. It was more fun for me too, and I could sense my skills improving rapidly as I trained with you. Beep. Things were going great. I was sure that I was on the path to becoming the leader of the Magicians Guild. My resolve had never been stronger. Above all, I was just happy to have made a good friend. I was so happy. Beep. Nara's Memoir 2. Nara's Memoir 3. As I settled into life in the guild following that harrowing day, the time I spent training, eating, and chatting with you felt like a reprieve. Beep. And while she had been deemed a lazy magician at first, the other students were starting to discover what she was capable of. Of course, she still skipped basic training drills from time to time, and she didn't seem to care about being chastised. Not just anyone could get away with this, but you proved it in the field. On field missions, she'd often take on tough monsters by herself and win handily. Beep. What's more, she looked good doing it. That is to say, she had magnificent form and rhythm, a mastery of the technique that began to win over plenty of fans. She remained humble, aside from the occasional skipped warm-up drill, of course, and just went about her training like the rest of us. But I could tell she was not like the rest of us. Her sense of rhythm and style were something else. Beep. And while I was Yu's friend, I was also her fiercest competitor, at least in my own mind. I trained intensely in order to keep up with her. My efforts did not go unnoticed. Among all magicians at the guild, my reputation soared. Perhaps even higher than Yu's. Beep. For a time, the rhythm of everyday life and training intertwined peacefully. Until the day we got the news. Our leader, the magician who had saved my life and inspired me, had been gravely injured by a monster. I couldn't believe it. Fortunately, his injuries were not life-threatening. But it was soon reported that he would be stepping down from his leadership role due to injuries. And he would be nominating a replacement. Beep. That meant the time was at hand. Although I had mixed feelings, I could sense I was on the brink of accomplishing my ultimate goal, becoming the leader of the Magicians Guild. I could finally make my dream come true. I knew I worked harder than anyone else, and my skills were among the best. I had a good reputation and was well respected. I had a really good chance at this. Beep. It wasn't long before the decision was made. The name was to be read aloud in a gathering of the magicians. And the one chosen as our new leader was you. Beep. Nara's Memoir 3. Nara's Memoir 4. While you was chosen as our new leader, I was appointed to be her vice chair. But I couldn't have cared less. I didn't even congratulate you. In fact, I started to avoid her. Beep. There was something inside me that burned with resentment. I was the one who was meant to replace the leader of the guild. I had to prove I was better than you. That's what led me to the Forbidden Book. The book contained magic that ordinary students weren't meant to study. Magic that could summon demons. It was said that one could make a deal with a demon in exchange for great power. Beep. It felt like my only option. Beep. I made my move in the middle of the night, removing the book from its keep and sneaking off to the deserted courtyard. By the dim light of a small fire, I studied the procedures carefully and readied myself to cast the spell. As I made the final move and cast the spell, the air took on a sudden chill. Beep. A dark mist appeared. Something huge and grotesque began moving toward me from its depths. So this was a demon. As if the demon's physical form were not intimidating enough, I could feel its evil aura immediately. It stood as tall as a castle and looked down at me as it spoke. Beep. So you're the one who brought me here, it smirked. Ready or not, here I come. The demon's maw curled into a horrific grin before its entire body returned to mist and surrounded me. Beep. Everything went dark. I could feel the demon's presence in my own mind and my own heart begin to darken. I stumbled and fell to the ground and lost consciousness. After some time, during which I felt as if my body were being tossed like a rag doll, the darkness lifted and I regained consciousness. My head was clear, and I was filled with an incredible energy. Beep. But the darkness lingered in my heart. What happened? Are you okay? It was you. Standing nearby in the courtyard. Darkness surged within my body. Get rid of her. Get rid of her. Get rid of her. The thought invaded my mind. Beep. Without hesitation, I cast a spell directly at you. She froze, wide-eyed, but did not so much as flinch or attempt to dodge. A moment later, she was gone. The spell I cast has the power to seal a person away in a deep cave filled with monsters. I heard myself laughing out loud. Beep. The next morning, when Yu was discovered to be missing, panic began to grip the guild community. She was known to strike out on her own, of course, so after several days, it was concluded that she had simply left on a whim. The council then acted swiftly to promote me from vice chair to leader of the Magicians Guild. Beep. It was all coming together. But perhaps I hadn't dreamed big enough. With the power of the demon surging within me, I could take things a bit further. The thought of ruling the world filled me with an intoxicating rush. But I could no longer tell if these were my own thoughts and feelings or those of the demon within. Beep. Nara's Memoir 4. Beatspell Stories. Rhythm rap. Play solo. Other. It's flutter speed. Catching bugs isn't easy, even with a net. They're just so fluttery and fast. But maybe if you really tune into the rhythm,